You're going to be doing a lot of talking in the Outer Worlds, or rather, you're going to have a lot of people talk at you before selecting from one of several pre-written dialogue options in response. Anyone who's played a Fallout game won't be a stranger to this kind of interaction, but the Outer Worlds is keen to put these discursive parlays at the forefront of its role-playing experience. In fact, I'd wager that over 2/3 of my time with the game was spent in conversation with Halcyon's denizens, all fully formed with their own thoughts and motivations and brought to life through strong voice performances and convincingly rendered facial animations. That amount of verbiage will sound off-putting at first, but these are some of the most well-written, multifaceted and human NPCs I've ever had the joy of getting to know, and the intricacies of conversing with them brings its own kind of rewards. These characters will react so acutely to your behaviour, the company you keep, and the events that transpire around them, it hurts my brain to even imagine how developer Obsidian accounted for every possibility in dialogue trees stored within their personas.
What in the void did you do?
The Outer Worlds front-loads these deep dialogue systems because Obsidian knows that's where its strengths lie, but it's a shame that the game's combat still feels relatively undemanding in comparison. There's nothing particularly wrong with it per se, the game's array of first-person firefights and melee brawls don't quite enthrall in the same way as its contemporaries, even with a fairly substantial arsenal of weapons at your disposal. Take tactical time dilation, a side effect of your character's sudden awakening from cryosleep which lets you slow down time at will. It's the Outer Worlds replacement for Fallout's VATS mode, yet lacks that system's strategic orientation and memorable sense of impact, thus ending up as a forgettable gimmick that adds little depth or colour to combat. Sneak enthusiasts will also likely be disappointed by the Outer Worlds' ropey stealth mechanics, which make it frustratingly difficult to execute covert kills without alerting other nearby enemies, especially in the absence of range tools like crossbows or silencers. There is, at least, a full cast of recruitable companions, 2 of whom can join you on your adventures at any one time, and bring their own flavours to the carnage via special attacks that lend a pulpy, cinematic flair to critical hits. Watching them stomp, smash, quip and dropkick their way through enemies was enough to keep fights entertaining, even if the efforts of my own attacks never connected with as much panache or impact. Here's the thing though, you can avoid the Outer Worlds combat encounters almost entirely, because the choices about the kind of spacefarer you want to be affects the player experience from top to bottom, as emphasised from the moment you boot up the game and start creating your character. The freedom to progress your character through the Outer Worlds' dizzying brew of attributes, skill points, perks, flaws, companions and armour and weapon management borders on limitless, and practically demands multiple playthroughs of its 25 to 30 hour campaign. That campaign is just as enrapturing and open-ended as the Outer Worlds' old-school RPG foundations too. It begins as a simple quest to save your abandoned colony ship from being left in orbit by Halcyon's ruling megacorp, the Board, but unfolds into something else entirely over the course of your planet-hopping escapades. That's thanks to Obsidian's masterfully constructed branching narrative, one that's completely free from any binary morality system to weigh it down. You can kill friends, partner up with former enemies, or terrorise entire towns if you want to, but Obsidian's carefully layered system of failsafes means there's always a plausible route for you to pursue each questline. In a way, this makes some of the Outer Worlds' big narrative choices even more tough to grapple with, as they all sit in uncomfortable grey areas with no gamified moral code to rely on for answers. The Outer Worlds' multiple endings are an inevitable offshoot of that fluid structure then, but no matter how you see in the credits, you'll know you've left an impact upon this world, one that will have changed the course of its future. And what a world it is! Halcyon has been meticulously conjured up by Obsidian from top to bottom, with some of the finest writing and world building I've seen from a game in recent memory. But there's real character at the heart of this dystopian milieu too, especially when it comes to your crew of motley companions. Each recruitable teammate steps aboard your ship with their own personal worldviews, emotional baggage and connections to Halcyon, but watching this group of strangers slowly gel into a united crew of friends and allies is genuinely affecting. From the adorably naive Parvati to the curt yet always surprising Vicar Max, the way in which each companion develops believable relationships with you and each other evokes the kind of space crew camaraderie that harkens back to the best of Mass Effect 2.
Wait, what the fuck is this? Is this French? I can't fucking read French.
Each of Halcyon's various zones are relatively small in size, but Obsidian makes up for that more focused scale with a strong sense of environmental diversity, from drifting megamalls soaked in neon to terraformed jungles of engorged fungi and craggy red rock. Loading times are a bit of a hassle in terms of their length and frequency, but the Outer Worlds is an experience that's hard to fault on the technical side, with a glowing, Golden Age-inspired art style that elevates its modest graphical makeup into some seriously eye-pleasing playgrounds. Obsidian's talent for sharp writing, choice-based narrative and complex role-playing have coalesced to create one of the strongest new IPs of the generation. Those expecting a straight-up spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas might be surprised by the Outer Worlds' more contained and old-fashioned approach to science fiction, but stick with this unashamedly talkative tragic comedy and you'll discover one of the smartest games of the year. We're giving the Outer Worlds 4 out of 5 stars.